hopefully be able to walk here in May and start my next career.
Nice. And what is that, Joel?
So my degree is in exercise science. It's professional, and with that, my goal and aspirations are to be a strength conditioning coach, at the NCAA or professional sports level. Now, to do that, a lot of organizations are looking for people with, grad school. So grad school, is something I would like to do, further down the line. But for the time being, definitely, I think, stay involved in hockey, maybe as a goalie coach or a strength coach, maybe at a lower level. We'll see what happens. I got a few opportunities out there. So, I'm weighing my options right now.
Yeah. And you might have a bigger option after UNC, creates their own rink. That's what I heard about that, right?
Yeah, so that's the big news that was dropped, around Christmas time, I guess, right? It was right around there,
Yeah.
maybe in November. But it's funny because, I didn't know anything. This is a booster club project, and I didn't know any of this until I saw it on social media. There's always talks about, I'm sure every team talks about it. Every team in Acha talks about, oh, we need to buy a rink, we're looking at land. But I had no idea, there was actually something that was, going to be coming to fruition. So I saw it first dropped, I think, on Hockey House or some other, Instagram page. I was like, whoa, what in the world? And I saw the drawings and the schematics of the rink. And I was like, what is all this? But yeah, so that looks like it's going to happen. I don't know, as far as like where they're at in the planning process, but I know they have their sights on a set of land that's right off campus. I guess it's like 5 miles off campus. So yeah, if people want to donate money, contact the UNC Tar Heels Hockey Booster Club.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to be quite a few million.
Wow. Yeah, that's nuts that they're creating that. Hopefully some Division I hockey to UNC.
Yeah, well, this hockey is growing in this area so much. I mean, with everything that our team has done, along with NC State and other college teams in this area, and as far as the Hurricanes being successful in the past few years, and they have the Junior Hurricanes program here. There's really getting to be a much larger interest in youth hockey. And the development program, for kids going to college, eventually is going to be at the point where there's going to be a lot of kids here who are going to be going to D1, varsity programs at big colleges. And I think if any school has a D1 program in the South, or at least in North Carolina, it should be UNC, right?
Oh yeah.
And I think other teams also should. I think eventually, NC State is going to be right there too, and other teams in the area, and it's only going to grow the sport and benefit everybody. So I think for us to be spearheading this, and be making the first initial steps is really what needs to be done to grow hockey in the South, and just get as many people playing as possible.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are like the first. I mean, Arizona State is technically really the first people to do it, first team. But like you guys, like Southern hockey, it's you guys that's starting it. And then I've talked with other people about, SEC hockey with like Kentucky, or like Bama hockey, or, the Gamecocks. They got a great program. It's only a matter of time where we have SEC hockey, Southern hockey, and then
I agree. I think, there's only so many programs, like big Division I programs for, talented hockey players to go play at. The options aren't enough. Yeah, you can go play juniors, or go play in Canada somewhere at a very high level, but it's not the same as getting that college experience and getting the education that I think a lot of people, really want. I mean, ask me 20 years ago, maybe not, when I was getting out of high school, but nowadays I think it's really important to get that education, because even though you may be good enough to make professional, at some level, that's not going to be your whole life, and people do need to plan for their life after hockey and after sports.
Yep.
So I think getting that education, and now NCAA hockey is more competitive. I remember growing up, WHL, OHL were the guys wanted to go. That was the leagues to go to. And NCAA hockey was kind of overlooked and looked at not as comparable. Where now I think if you take, a team like BU and you put them against OHL, WHL teams, they're going to be very successful, to where 20 years ago, maybe it wasn't so much like that.
Yeah. Because then you got to sign the contract.
Yeah.
And boom, like you sign that contract. That means my goal is to play professional hockey, and that's the end of the line. Like I'm going to the NHL. I had a kid on here. His name's Egan Beveridge. He plays in the OHL. And he said he was ready to sign that contract because he knew his goal is to make the NHL.
Yep.
He said, yeah, I would love to play Division I, and, have the college scene, the party scene, all that stuff. But he's like, I've sacrificed too much in the game of hockey where I know I want to go to the NHL. So that's what you got to do. But
Yep.
Joel, can you give us like a layout of this new ice arena at UNC? Like what's it looking like?
From right now, I'm not really in the know on, the purchasing agreement, if money's been put down. I know they have people working on, the design of the rink. I know it's going to seat approximately 2,000, have 7 like sky boxes or luxury boxes, and would have our own locker room there, of course. I'm not sure. I heard some things about, another locker room for women's, because right now we don't have a women's team for club hockey. So I don't know if it would be added to and we'd share a locker room, or if there'd be one added separate. But yeah, just one sheet of ice, 2,000 people arena. And as far as I know, that's all I've seen, what everyone else is pretty much saw on social media. So from what I've seen, I'm pretty impressed. It looks amazing. And unfortunately, I'm going to be graduated and long gone out of school by the time it's done. But right now, I guess they're saying 2025, 2026 is like hopeful to have doors open. So wow. We're a long way from that. And, I think there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen before everything falls in place. But yeah, we're very hopeful here, and the future looks bright.
Yeah. I mean, when we're a little bit older, you're essentially going to be able to be like, yeah, I was a Tar Heel in their Division I. So you're associated with Division I hockey, even though that no one's going to know that it was Acha back in the day, does it really matter? And
yeah,
Acha hockey, it's not bad hockey at all. I mean,
it's not.
It's not. Even the D2 level that we play at, it's good hockey. Very much.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm I'm impressed with the skill level that I've seen, in the Acha, in D2, and in D1 and D3, all across the board, because you have guys who come from such a wide variety of backgrounds who, probably could have played in a NCAA D3 or D1 program, but maybe they didn't want to go to a certain school and they opted to go to a better school. And now they're playing Acha D3 or D2 or D1, and you have some really highly skilled players who come down from these other programs that have, really great teams. Just like one of our guys last year, Perry Winfrey, he came from University of Maine. He played up there, and, he decided to finish his college career and graduate from UNC. So after leaving Maine, he came down and played with us for our 2022-23 season. I think I lost you. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I got you.
Oh, I think I was on mute. Um,
Just for that
so
one little sentence. That's it.
yeah. So that guy that was at University of Maine, he played on the Division I team.
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
I'm not sure, how much playing time he had or what his stats was on the team, but I know that he was on the team, and he did his first 3 years up there at Maine.
wow. Yeah. I mean, even if you get to that Division I level,
Yeah.
it's a lot better than 90% of the
Oh yeah,
population
for
doesn't get
sure.
there.
Something to be proud of, no matter what.
Yeah. Even
Yeah,
even
so I know there's a
division.
lot of guys. There's a lot of guys like that in Acha who come from NCAA D3 programs, and I'm sure there's other guys who come from D1 programs, and decide to finish school, at places like UNC or Kentucky or wherever else.
Yeah. Well, I'm one of those guys that played Division III college hockey, and I wasn't getting any playing time. And
Yeah,
I was like, you know what? It's time to make a jump. All right. So Acha hockey, they got the crowds, they got
yeah,
the legit party life that you want. They
yep,
got great education. Like,
yep,
all right, I got a University of Kentucky degree, or I got the University of Southern Maine degree.
yeah,
Which one's better? The Kentucky
yeah,
degree. And
yeah.
it's like these schools, it's a matter of time before we have Division I hockey, which would make it crazy.
I mean, it's pretty amazing when you look at a lot of the D3 schools around the country. And I spoke to a lot of the players, and they're like, yeah, we'll get like 20 people in the crowd. It's like family members.
Yeah.
And you go to see a game like Kentucky, and it's jam packed. A midnight game with, I don't know how many people you fit in that place, but it feels like a lot.
Yeah.
And it's
It is.
loud, and rowdy, and it's a great environment to play hockey, even as a visitor. It's a great thing to experience. And
Yeah.
we draw crowds that are, a lot of D3 programs could never dream of having.
Yeah. It's
So
it's insane. I mean, exactly, like you got your parents in the stands.
yeah,
That's about it.
yeah,
And then just the student life isn't there, at these smaller schools.
yeah,
So, um, so you played at PNC Arena. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I mean,
yeah.
sorry, let's not do the PNC. Let's do the Winter Classic.
Right.
Yeah, tell me about that and the lead up to that, I guess.
Yeah. So Frozen Finley, it's funny because the year prior, I heard that there's going to be an outdoor game at Carter Finley Stadium, NC State's football field. And I thought, like, oh, what a great idea. What a cool thing would be to have, like, a college hockey game there. And this is before I even was at UNC. And as soon as I had made the team basically last year, the 2022-23 season, it was something I was like, hey, what's the possibility? I was just talking to people. Is anyone talking about maybe trying to get a game here at Carter Finley? And there had to have been already something in the works between the coaches. But I don't know how much of that was set in stone. And if I remember correctly, it wasn't until shortly before where it was like, yeah, this is going, like, we're going to do this. I think it was like maybe 6 or 7 weeks prior. We're like, this is going to happen. We're actually going to get to play, and it was a very surreal moment, because I was lucky enough to have seen the Hurricanes play the Capitals there the night prior. I got to go to the game and, experience that full crowd there, that sellout crowd. I don't know how many people were there, but it was absolutely insane how loud it was. And it was a great game to watch. I had great view, from like the upper level seats. And getting to play there and get dressed in the locker room and walk out. We're like, how many people, we're like guessing how many people are going to be there. We're like, oh, we heard maybe 10,000 will be there, maybe 12,000, and then game day, it's like 26,000 people, by the start of the first period. And just hearing that many people, when, there's saves being made and hits being made, like, it was just unreal. I mean, there's a lot of NHL players who will never play in front of that many people. And it was a once in a lifetime experience that I'll never forget, you know.
Wow. You know, and it doesn't matter if it's win or lose, you know, it's, you
Yeah.
got to experience that, you know,
Yeah.
which is,
Yeah. We
which
didn't
is the
win that
crazy part.
game. We didn't win that game, but it was definitely, that game was more important for everybody on the team to get to experience that. You know, we had a full roster. Everybody was dressed. Everybody was getting ice time, and it was really more about that. It was more about getting to experience that and getting to say that, you know, people have done that, you know. So really, really once in a lifetime experience. And, you know, I have to thank, you know, everybody involved who put that together, you know, on our side for UNC and NC State side, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, you guys had that awesome, like the jersey layout that you guys had
Yeah.
in the basketball arena. You guys had the Jordans, you putting the Jordans
Yeah. Yeah.
to the ear. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Actually, the guy who made our jerseys for that game last year. So everybody on the team made a design, you know, for what jersey they want to make, you know, for the outdoor game. I wanted to do like an old school, like Pittsburgh style, where it says Carolina, you know, across the body. And Perry, the guy from Maine, he's actually the one who designed that, the all white, the white, you know, with the vests that we had on there, the white pants and the socks. So he's the guy who actually made that jersey for us, and that's, everybody voted for that one. So he was a lucky winner.
Yeah. Um, do you mind if I move locations for a second here?
No, you're good, man.
Sure. Hallway. Light doesn't even work. What the fuck? Sorry, bear with me 1 second here.
You're good.
Hey, nice lighting. I should just do it in here.
There you go.
I think I found a new spot.
There you go.
Yeah, there's too many people walking in and out there. I was kind of
Gotcha.
sidetracked. But sorry. Yeah. So Joel, was there hype like the week coming up to it? Were you like, how was it in the locker room knowing that you guys are gonna play in this once in a lifetime Winter Classic?
Um, it's, I take everything one day at a time. I really don't get anxious for games until I'm like driving to the rink, you know, like when I'm driving to the rink or I'm on the bus ride, that's when I start feeling like I start thinking about what I got to do and, you know, what it's going to be like. And I, I don't know. I don't know how other guys felt. I never really thought too much about, you know, the amount of people that were going to be there watching. You know, it's just like another hockey game, and I was going in there to have as much fun as possible, try to win. But yeah, I remember walking out and seeing that many people. At first, it was initially like a little intimidating, like, holy cow, like I can't believe everybody's here to see two club hockey teams play each other. You know, it just shows how much interest and love for hockey down in North Carolina there is. But yeah, the days leading up, I was like, you know, pumped up and excited about doing it. I didn't start getting nervous until maybe the day of, you know, when I was actually driving to the rink and realizing, you know, this is about to be it. You know, we're gonna actually do this.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And you know, the fact that you got to do it before, you know, any other colleges, like I think BC versus BU, like crazy rivalry.
Yeah,
They didn't even get that. I think they got like 15,000
yeah,
at the Fenway Classic.
yeah. When they had Fenway opened up, I think they did BC, BU, Northeastern, I think, and Harvard played too.
Mhm.
I think they had 2 games there. I don't know who played who, but I think it was probably BC, BU, Northeastern Harvard. But none of their games came close to what we had down at Carter Finley. So yeah, a little bit of bragging rights for us, I guess.
Exactly. Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, it was crazy to see that, and then to finally have someone talk about it in front of me is pretty cool to hear.
Yeah.
So Joel, as a goalie, I know goalies can be pretty weird with their superstitions. Do you have like a routine that you do?
So game day, I go to the rink. I do the same thing all the time. It's just maybe my habits. I don't know if it's a routine. Like, I don't think of it like, oh, I need to do this or it's bad luck. I don't really see it like that. Where I go, I drop my gear off, I change out of my, my dress clothes, put on my comfortable clothes. Usually have like a Snickers bar or a banana before the game, drinking a ton of water because I sweat like a pig. Like, it's one thing, like anyone on my team, you can ask them. I come out of warm-ups, I'm drenched. Like right after warm-ups, I'm drenched. I sweat a lot, so I got to drink a ton of water. And I lead the team dynamic warm-up, before the game. So I get the whole team together, and we go through our dynamic warm-up together, and then the guys who can actually play soccer, they play suey a little bit, kick the ball around. I don't even try that. I just go back into the rink and stretch on my own a little bit, try to get my head in the game, then get dressed and go out for warm-ups. I don't really have too many crazy superstitions, or like I always put like my left skate on first, my left pad on first. But I think that's just a habit of my routine, from doing it for years and years and years. Just like if you put pants on, you just do it without even noticing. You put one pant leg on before the other, and you probably never change it throughout your entire life. But it's just because it's your habits. It's not like superstitions for me or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm not really a very superstitious goalie, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some goalies that are like they'll get mad if you even go near them.
Oh yeah,
Be like, "What are you doing? This is my space."
like touching their sticks or anything like that. Yeah,
Yeah, but even talking to them, like
yeah,
they're just some goalies are just dialed in, and you got to let them be like that. For me as a player, I've always been try to be like really loose. Like you watch Cam Newton, he's dancing during warmies.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
dancing. I always try
yeah,
to be like that, but some guys, they got to get locked in. They got to do the sniffing salts, and
yeah, yeah.
they got to be locked in. So it's cool to hear a goalie stupid routine, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I try to be really flexible, and I think that comes a lot from my military career, from being in the Army and, being in the infantry and serving as a sniper and then as a Green Beret. You're always having adversity thrown at you, and, being forced to be flexible and being able to adapt in really different situations, because nothing is ever the same when you're in the military, when you're overseas, like, so you have to really become adaptable. And I think that's a lot in my personality, especially with hockey. Like maybe something happened to where, one of my sticks isn't good to play with for the day, but it's like, a good stick that I like to use. I'll just use another one, or maybe something about like, oh, we got to the rink really late, we only have 20 minutes to get on the ice. I'll get dressed fast on the ice. Or some people that might bother them, and that can be a hindrance to you're playing. So being adaptable, I think, is really crucial, especially at any high level sport. And I think my time in the military really helped me get out of that. Maybe when I was young, I can't remember, it was so long ago in high school, maybe I was a little more superstitious back then, but definitely not anymore, because I just been thrown with so much adversity and, weird situations where I just had to deal with it and just drive on.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely like that part of the game, being able to adapt,
Yeah.
just because one, oh, you get there late, doesn't matter. Doesn't hinder your game, and then you're playing for your team,
Yeah.
not for yourself.
Exactly.
Um, yeah. So Joel, I think we got 6 more minutes. I mean, I can only ask you so many questions, but I
It's all
gotta
good.
say, Joel, I think this is, I think you have the best setup in all of Acha hockey. The mask that you got in the pads, it's unbelievable. So can you tell me what your mask is and what's painted on
So
it?
yeah, so my beer league team I played on before, applying to UNC, I had a mask. I had like a vinyl wrap that was done for it. So like they print it out and they put this vinyl wrap on. It's looks really good. It's not as expensive as paint. And I had I used to love Top Gun growing up, right? I probably watched the movie 500 times. So I had my vinyl wrap looked like Maverick's helmet. It was like the same lines and the eagle on the side of the helmet. Just instead of it being like black, it was white with red and navy colors. And I really like that design, and like I love all the Top Gun helmets, and like all the helmets designs they had back then. So with my UNC mask, I wanted to keep it kind of the same motif, and have basically the same style of art. With like the white and black camouflage in the back, and the blue lines like on the top, and it says Hughes instead of Maverick. And instead of the eagle being on the side, it's Ramesses, the UNC Ram.
Yeah.
And he's like shooting down the side of the mask, and his horns are gold. And the artist that I used, he actually used like I think it's like 14 karat like the leaf gold. It's actual real gold in the helmet.
Wow.
Like he didn't paint that, he cut it and put it on there and like clear coated over it. So he did all that. And on the back, I had, some of my badges that I've earned, from the Army, and some of my past unit crests that I've been assigned to, different units I've had in my career. First one being 2nd Battalion, 7th Infantry Regiment, who I deployed to Iraq with my very first time in 2003. And the other one is the Special Forces Unit crest, because I served as a Green Beret for my final 13, 14 years in the Army. So yeah, it's all military themed in the back, and and the Top Gun UNC, and
Yeah.
it came out amazing. And the pads, I mean, same thing. I contacted a guy on Instagram. I think his username is B Gilly Design, B Gilly, and told him I had a quick little sketch on paper. So here's kind of like what I want to do, and gave it to him, and he flew with it. And I mean, the end product is what you see he made and sent that off to Bauer, and they printed it up and put it together. And I mean, I couldn't have been happier with the way it came out and the way it all ties in together. I mean, the colors alone, I mean, you gotta love UNC colors, even if you're not a UNC fan, like
Yeah. Look at this.
yeah. I mean,
I'm
the
wearing the
baby,
baby blue.
I mean, it all just looks so good. And the Argyle and everything. I mean, it was just blown away with how good the design came out. So yeah, if anyone's looking to design some goalie gear, contact B Gilly Design on Instagram. He knows what he's doing.
Sure. Well, yeah, that's my hot take. The best setup in Acha hockey. Joel Hughes wins it.
Thanks a lot, bud.
Yeah. I would like to ask you more about it. I would like to ask you about, Europe, but we're running out of time. I think I got a lot out of you. It was great to hear your story. Thank you
Yeah,
for your service again. Appreciate, that.
thank you very
Um,
much.
and yeah, I'll end it right here.